Hopefully you guys can see me here. All right, hi everybody. Dr. Misty here. Thanks for joining. It's Wellness Wednesday today, and I wanted to touch on a subject that I'm sure many of you can relate to right now, which is insomnia. So here's what's probably going on with everybody right now, especially with people who are no longer going to work. Sorry, give me 1 second. I'm having a hard time with the live here. All right, so this is especially probably a big deal for women who are transitioning from being in work, using their body all the time, being around others, to being home in one place, not having a lot of movement, and then transitioning into different roles. So this is particularly important if you and let me know if you guys feel me on this. So if you've been noticing since quarantine that you are having an amplification of insomnia, give me a thumbs up or like this post, because this is one thing I've been hearing from a lot of people is they've been having trouble sleeping. So let's go into that a little bit. The reason for that is because of the hyper stress that we're all feeling right now. Okay. We are I've talked about in a couple of my other videos that we're in a heightened state of stress right now. But what that really means to your body is that your body is essentially, especially if you're watching the news a lot, you're essentially having an anticipation of something bad happening all the time. So your body is on fight or flight way too much. And what's happening is that your adrenals are going haywire. So if you have adrenal issues or adrenal fatigue, what you're going to notice is that you may be having, or even if you don't have adrenal fatigue and you're starting to get it right now, everybody right now is pretty much getting a spike in cortisol levels and their adrenals being activated. So what's essentially happening right now is that we're getting a sympathetic nervous system response. Okay, so we have different autonomic nervous systems. We have the sympathetic and the parasympathetic. So the fight or flight and the wine and dine. Okay. And just kind of explaining what might be happening with you guys. So really during this period, we're experiencing a large sympathetic nervous system response. Okay. Our body is having, and you might also experience weight gain as well. Sugar cravings, salt cravings, these are all probably on par with the stress response. Okay. And the reason for that is because of what's happening to your sympathetic nervous system. Your sympathetic nervous system is going into fight or flight. Okay. And now this is for people who don't have particular trauma histories. If you have a trauma history, there's also freeze. Okay, so you might have a freeze response, particularly to women. If you know anybody who is in a domestic violence relationship or anything like that, they're probably experiencing a level of more freeze or dissociation because they're not able to handle the level of stress that they're experiencing. So there's different, and that's called a dorsal vagal response. What's happening in this right now, and you also might notice that, especially that happening if somebody is experiencing more trauma, like they just had their loved one in a hospital pass away and they weren't able to say goodbye, or they're a frontline worker in the ER, things like that. So just want to give you some information about how you can help yourself during this time and why your body is experiencing all these symptoms. Okay, you want some? So essentially, the sympathetic nervous system response is getting kicked in because of perceived threat, okay? And the perceived threat is being set off, sorry, I'm juggling right now, is being set off typically by the media. Unfortunately, not to say that the media isn't giving us some Okay, you're gonna have to find it. Can you have Lily help you? I'll be off in a minute. What we really want to, sorry, I gotta do this for 1 second so that they, Violet, juggling. Okay, so essentially the sympathetic nervous system response. Here's what. That's what it is, Violet. Mommy's on a video right now. I can help you afterwards, okay? So what your body is doing is increasing cortisol levels, which is going to create problems with your sleep-wake cycles. Okay, so cortisol is, it goes like on a roller coaster. Okay, so your cortisol levels should start like this and they should end like this. Okay, so if you have really bad adrenal fatigue and you're not having a good cortisol response, you're kind of flatlined. Okay, so this is not one curve we want to flatten. Okay, it's a terrible joke, but this is you want your cortisol rhythm to go up and then be the lowest at night. So what happens when you get hyper stressed and that hyper sympathetic response is that that roller coaster goes way too far up. Okay, and you can't come down well at night. So what that does is it plays in on your melatonin. Okay, so your body should naturally have a sleep-wake cycle. And so that melatonin that is, it gets stimulated from your pineal gland in your brain, essentially gets a little bit more inhibited, okay? And especially if you guys are somebody that, hey, can you guys, Lily, can you turn that down for a second, please? Lily, honey, please turn that down. Please turn it down. I'm on a video right now. Please turn it down. I can't hear myself, okay? Or go in a different room. Thank you. Okay, so, sorry, guys. Essentially, what's happening during the day in the pineal gland, especially if you guys are on more electronics. So we're really on electronics more right now, right? Especially for social interaction. What you're going to want to consider is turning on the color filters on your phone, because too much blue light is going to create a problem with inhibition of the melatonin secretion from your pineal gland. So you want to either turn on color filters on your phone to put it to more red. Okay, so red light stimulates that. You can also consider getting a red light bulb to put next to your bed, especially at night, to start to bring down the cortisol levels and increase melatonin secretion. Or get blue light blocking sunglasses. That's really powerful. Because what's happening is that we're not getting enough exercise, right? So we're not releasing as much of the glucose that's being stimulated from the sympathetic nervous response. So we're getting a heightened blood sugar crashes throughout the day. So you might experience more hunger, okay? You also might get a bigger 2 o'clock crash. That's also normal. And so it's important to understand that we need to, instead of, some of this response is not going to be, it's going to be natural and normal for what we're all going through. But making sure that we support our bodies and just make sure that, we are giving ourselves the best chance to not have those issues with our adrenals, because that will affect our our estrogens, our testosterones, basically all of your androgens are going to drop down. Your hormones, you might have different cycles. Your cycle's probably going to change a little bit from this because of the increase in what's called glucocorticoids, which is the cortisol. So it plays on more than just it plays on our hormone levels, okay, and those sleep-wake cycles. So what's important is that you guys try to move your body. So get out with your kids. If you are homeschooling, this is really important. You want to get out with your kids and exercise. So do that a couple times a day, particularly in the morning if you can. Getting as much vitamin D, so getting more sun, doing some grounding. Those are things that bring down that sympathetic nervous system response. The other thing that you can do is you really want to stimulate the vagus nerve. Okay, so the vagus nerve and the parasympathetic response, that wine and dine response. Okay, the wine and dine response, the parasympathetics essentially are what bring down your blood pressure, what bring down your heart rate, that essentially put you into a rest state. Okay, so if you're looking at news before bed and stuff, and trust me, I have been guilty of that as well. Just know, and those are the nights where I had the crappiest night's sleep. And why? Because I did have my blue light glasses on and everything, but still I'm getting that sympathetic nervous system response, and then you're getting that insomnia because you're ramping up your nervous system. So things you can do to bring down that response. Adding protein and high fats into your diet. Okay, so stabilizing things to stabilize your blood sugar, keeping your fiber as well. So adding fiber and protein to each meal to try and slow the amplification of your blood sugar. That's really important. Okay. You can also do things, like I said, like grounding. Okay, so getting out in quiet, even if it's for 5 minutes, go stand out in your yard, get away from some of the noise, and try to, just get your nervous system calmed down. If you have essential oils, I would highly recommend diffusing things like Melissa, lavender. There's so many that you guys can use for calming. I specifically use doTERRA. So I use combination oils. I use Serenity and Balance. There's oils. What the oils will do will actually act on some of your cranial nerves to try and reduce your stress levels as well and activate specific parts of your brain. So the name of the game is trying to keep your nervous system in check. Okay. The other thing that you can do is have, if you are with a spouse or a roommate, anything like that, or even have one of your kids, if you're laying down on the ground, having your kids just kind of hold your head in their hands and kind of just massage and push on the lower part of your head, where kind of you feel that bumpiness in the back. That's your occiput, and that's where the vagus nerve comes out of. So doing things to help stimulate that. You can also use acupressure points. Do things that, even laughter, if you find yourself getting caught up in that response, trying to watch something funny instead, like switch to your favorite show that's funny, to try and activate different parts of the brain, because that's really important to, it's really important to switch on and off that nervous system response. But that's essentially why, what's the matter? Well, I just put that on. Oh boy. Okay. So essentially, okay, you have to be patient, sweetie. Patience. Patience, please. Patience. Okay, so take time for yourself too, because I know you guys hear what's happening right now, and the kids, if you're tending to needs consistently, you need to tend to your own needs too. Okay, turn that down, take that over there. Okay, Mommy will be done in a minute. So I hope that's helpful for you guys in understanding why your body is having those insomnia problems right now. Your hormones are being played upon with all the stress levels, and you're getting that perceived stress and attack response, which is really stimulating your adrenal glands. So those are some things that you can do to help prevent that, and really activate the parasympathetic nervous system. That's really important. And the other thing is, again, I put this in my post a lot, but self-compassion. Have have a little bit of self-compassion with perfectionism and things like that, like thinking things how we're supposed to be. Everything's kind of, everything's up in the air. There's so many things that are up in the air right now. You may have a stress of, not on top of being home, like you lost your job, or uncertainty of the future and things like that. All we can do is, be present as much as possible right now and support each other. I would also recommend, if you have having somebody who is kind of like a partner in crime that you can check in with, to say like, hey, how you doing? And kind of give each other some support, or checking in on somebody else, and giving is going to help bring up your vibration levels more, because you're going to be more in a state of love and gratitude with, reaching out for other people, and trying to be part of the solution for others as well. So I hope you found that helpful. Comment below, give me a thumbs up if you did, and share with your friends, because let's be honest, like, how many millions of people are out of work right now? How many millions of people lost their jobs and are homeschooling or juggling or things like that? This is a very real problem, and it can wreak havoc on your body. Your body needs rest in order to rejuvenate your cells. Okay, so chronic stress and no sleep is going to decrease your immunity, and that's not what any of us need right now. We need strong immune systems. We need to be healthy and stay well to push forward from this. So I wish you all the best. Get some sleep. Try those those blue light sun blocking glasses, or red light bulb, things like that. And hopefully that helps. All right, I'll see you guys next week, and I'll be posting videos throughout the week as well. All right, have a good day.